The net zero policy. So Chris Bowen is desperately wanting us all to get electric vehicles. He's wandering around Western Sydney throwing hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars at people to get EV trucks. Well, let's just have a listen to this EV truck expert, a logging expert. Let's just have a listen to part of what he had to say over in the States.
Do you ever see yourself going 100% EV?
No.
And why not?
I mean, maybe. If battery technology gets better, grid infrastructure gets better. But like this truck, like a logging truck uses about 2.5 megawatts of power per day. With extra capacity in the battery means you need a 3 megawatt battery pack. The biggest one is like a Tesla Semi, which is like a 1 megawatt. So you need 3 megawatts to run an electric truck. There's 5,000 logging trucks that haul logs at 2.5 megawatts of consumption per day. That's 12.5 gigawatts of power. Site C Dam has been under construction for the last, 15 years at a cost of $20 billion, and that has a 1.1 gigawatt. So a $20 billion dam that takes 15 years to build has a 1.1 gigawatt capacity, and logging trucks, just logging trucks alone, are using 12.5 gigawatts. You would have to flood an area of land the size of Wales to produce that hydropower. Well, we need a lot to make a fully electric feasible on the North American grid with batteries and all that. But if you can make it more efficient and you can make it a hybrid and you can reduce your fuel consumption by 50% and you can burn that as a generator where it's 1 RPM, running hot, burning cleaner, well, isn't a 50-60% reduction in emissions a lot better than investing everything into a fully electric technology that's not really going to work for 90% of the applications, meaning that the other 100% are still burning 100% of the diesel?
So Rita and James, more common sense, maths, adding up. I know many Australians can't add up because they've been through our education system, as we were just discussing. But James, common sense, the figures don't add up. You can't get to net zero. Ask the people who actually work for a living, James.
Well, Rowan, I don't know. I was watching that whole clip there and I was thinking, what are we talking about here? Using electric vehicles to go logging? I mean, logging is the last thing we should be doing. We should all be living in straw yurts or whatever it is that we're going to go to next year. I mean, no, obviously the maths simply don't make sense. They don't stack up, and they keep trying to play with the maths every time anybody points it out and says, oh, no, you can't say that. It's just, you're being, you're terrible and blocking and all of that. I mean, you can see that in the whole fight that the CSIRO got into last week when, they were called out for their assumptions on the costs and the ability to get to net zero. Again, it doesn't work. It is a physical impossibility. If you look around the world, you see that gas and coal are still being used. If we were a sensible country, we would be using a lot of gas to get us to nuclear rather than going and doing, what this guy says they're trying to make him do, which is, go all in on electrifying everything. Among other things, there's so many other issues, too. People don't realize that the power that comes out of a lot of renewables projects isn't high-quality electricity, so it comes into the grid unstable. It needs to be smoothed. This is going to, once you hit about a 40% penetration rate for renewables, going to be a disaster for a modern economy, and sometimes, honestly, Rowan and Rita, I think that's the point.